I'm an instructor in painting and sculpting at the Art League of Long Island. That's in Dix Hills, which is part of New York State. And I instruct oil painting and sculpting. So today we are going to give a demonstration in portraiture, which is for many people very intimidating and for most of us absolutely terrifying. The sculptures that you see before you are called equines, and they originally appeared in Elliot Goldfinger's book, Anatomy, Human Anatomy for Artists, The Elements of Form. And so he sculpted these pieces originally to as an illustration point, and then finally they were produced, so they are available. And you can get them from Sculpture House Casting in New York City, so look that up. It may not be in their catalog, so speak to somebody about these, but they're very, very useful. Let's begin this talk with a few reference points using Mr. Goldfinger's beautiful study model of human skull. This is the mandible, or mandibula. This is the lower jaw, and it is the only part of the head that is articulated. So when you are in movement, this is the part that is in movement. Above it is the maxilla. This is across the teeth, and above that is a hollow area in the skull, a deep part that is called the canine fascia. You can see the nasal cavity here and the bony protuberance that begins the nose. The rest of it is in cartilage. And in this area is the orb of the eye. Above it is part of the zygomatic process in the brows. This ridge here, the brown line, is part of the zygomus. Zygomatic art comes all around. This is all part of the zygomus. And to the side we have the zygomatic arch. The forehead is above the brow, and coming back to the profile of the head, we have the temporal region, which is through here to the ear, which is here in the auditory canal. This is the parietal region, the mastoid. The rear part of it is the occipital region of the skull. Above this is the crown of the cranium. These are the most salient parts of the human skull that we'll be discussing today in our demonstration. While we're here, let's just have a closer look at Mr. Goldfinger's equine before we put it away and advance onto the clay. This is the left side of the head with the innermost muscles illustrated. This node here is a connecting point for many of the surface muscles that will be seen on the other side of the head. It's very important. These are connecting points for those muscles as well. So these are the deepest parts of the muscles in relationship to the skull. So we have both bone and muscle described. Here you can see the parietal muscle. On this side of the head, as we come across the center line, we can see much better illustrations of the surface muscles that will concern us most. These are the muscles, of course, that surround the eye. These are all muscles that deal with the motion of the mouth, and the jaw muscles are here. This is the masseter muscle, which is the most powerful muscle in the human body. That goes up and under the parietal arch, it goes up and under the zygomus and into the parietal. And here is the auditory canal and the mastoid bone again. Here you can see some of the major muscles of the neck demonstrated in this sculpture. So here is our clay, and a few points I want to make to you at the very beginning is let's look at the shape, the general shape of the head and the neck and the shoulders, and point out to you that if we consider this in profile first, that we will see that the chest is angled on this plane. The neck in turn is counter to that, forming a kind of V shape on its side, and then the head rests in a vertical position. So that places the head slightly forward of the body. It is slightly forward but still within the realm of the chest, which would be much lower. Coming back to the front, take note of the egg shapes that are within the skull. The egg here is turned upside down, so the narrow point of the top of an egg is the chin, and the wide point is the top of the cranium. This also occurs in other parts of the head, and that is, for example, if you consider the egg now laid on its side, you can see that the bottom of the egg, the broad part of the egg, is here, and how it narrows as it goes to the forehead. So you're just going to have to imagine that. The top view, which is a little bit difficult here to demonstrate, but I'll show you with Mr. Goldfinger's sculpture, is similar in that the cranium, the occipital, is the widest part of the skull, and then it tapers toward the forehead. So keep those major shapes in mind, and you will be on the right track. You can also see that it has been scored with the spatula to bisect it equally from left and right, and here at the center between the chin and the dome, the top of the head, the crown, excuse me, this would be the location for the eyes. And if we divide that once again between the chin and the eyes, we will come up with the position for the nose. And once again, dividing that, we have roughly the location for the mouth. Our purpose here today is actually to simplify things. And there are many ways to getting at this. Here is the eyebrow. And we're going to begin, first of all, by pointing out a few very basic shapes that I hope that you will recall, because they will apply. You can see here that the first thing I'm doing is drawing an upside down heart that is coming to what would be the lower lip. This is right here on the center line, and this would be my brow line, and the first thing is to take out right across the clay, gouge a deep trough right there. Now, this is how deep it is. And then, to create a muzzle shape, going right down the sides of the face. Here we're developing a wedge shape down to the mouth, and I'm going to cut off where the lower lip would be and just form the suggestion of the upper lip. There is the barrel shape of the maxilla. You see we have flattened out beneath the eyes on both sides. So here again, remember this shape, this heart shape that comes right down and through here. I'm just going to clear a little bit more space here. And for a temporary lower lip that is now in place, you'll notice that the corners of the mouth are a little bit deeper, and that the upper lip is further away than the lower lip, and slightly short of the upper lip. In profile, you can also see that the lower lip is receded, that is slightly behind the upper lip, and here you can see an indentation, and then the chin. The chin will be developed later.